Hello everyone, welcome to my online geography class KSK Geography. Here we are to discuss, to recap one more important chapter for ICSE Geography, that is the water resource. Water resource, again, these are also one of the easiest and simple chapters and very short chapters where you can score very easily, right? So before starting the chapters, you need to remember one thing, the syllabus. You need to remember one thing, the syllabus. What are the things you need to study, right? The sources of water, that is the surface water and the groundwater, we'll discuss in details. Next, need of conservation and conservation practice, mainly rainwater harvesting you need to focus here. Next is what? Irrigation. Maximum weightage from this chapter given on the irrigation part, that is the types and different methods of irrigation and the importance. You need to know all those things here. Next, here you can see the water you can see in our world, that is the 70% area, almost 70% area, that is the water bodies, right? And only 30% area, that is the land mass. Now if you compare the whole amount of water, you can say the 70% water bodies is there, so the amount of water is much more. But remember, those water we cannot use maximum. Remember, we can use only less than 1% of water available on our earth. Less than 1% of water available on our earth. Why? Because out of this whole water, 97% water belongs to the ocean, right? So ocean water, those are the salt water. We cannot use that water. We cannot use that water, that is the salt water. Now how much portion is left? Only 0.3%. Only 3% water is left that we can use. But remember, those water also, right? Those water is the 3% of water. If we'll talk about the whole water, right? The fresh water, that water also you cannot use. Those are the fresh water, but we cannot use. Why? Out of this 3%, right? 70% belongs to the glaciers or is there in the form of ice. So that water we cannot use. So we can use only less than 1% water out of whole water that available on our earth, right? Those are the 1% water. Now if we'll talk about the 1% water, 70% is there in the form of groundwater, and that is very, very important, safe, secure water that we can use for all the purposes, right? All the purposes. So mainly for drinking purpose we can use those water. Next, that is the, rather than the groundwater, the other types of water, that is the surface water. Surface water means that is there, that's fresh water, it is there on surface. What are those? Like the river, lake, pond, those are the areas where we are getting those surface water, right? So those are the concept, underground water and the surface water. These two types you need to remember basically from this part. Next, why the water is so important? As you know, the water is required, for our day-to-day life, and water is life, right? Water is life. You can see water is available only on our earth, right? Other planet we don't have that water, so that's why life form is not possible on the other planet. In our planet the water is available, so that's why life is possible. Now this water, which purpose we are using this water? Here you can see 69% water is used for agricultural purpose. 69% water is used for agricultural purpose. For industry we require 23% water, and for domestic purpose you are using 8% of water. Here you can see, but the water level is decreasing day by day, is getting polluted, and water level is decreasing day by day. So there is a problem of water scarcity, and it's predicted that how much water we require in the future, that much water we will be not able to get that much water. You will see the water level is declining day by day, so that's why there will be huge problem. So we need to be much more thoughtful for that, how we can save and protect water, because without water we cannot imagine our life, right? So here one such method, that is called rainwater harvesting. What is that rainwater harvesting methods? Rainwater harvesting, basically, when you will get the rainwater, this rainwater we will not store it, so those water it will go as a surface water, and it will at last it will join with the ocean, and then it will become salty, and then it will become unusable water, right? So we need to protect that water before going to the ocean. So that is called the rainwater harvesting. Here you can see the advantage of rainwater harvesting. What are the advantage of rainwater rainwater harvesting? First of all, we can collect it easily. We don't need to spend so much to store that water. We can collect easily, and we can use this water when the water it will be required much more, because in India we have only 4 months rainy season. If we will be able to store that water in the dry season, we can utilize this water, so we can minimize the chances of floods, as well as we can control the droughts also. So when the water it will be required much more, we can use it for those purpose. Along with that, it is eco-friendly, right? Those are the 2 points you need to remember. It is environmental friendly, as well as it increase the groundwater level. How? When you are storing this rainwater, so this rainwater slowly it will go down, and it will be filtered, and it will be stored as a groundwater. So in that way it helps. Other than that, what are the other advantage you can see? Those are the important points. Reduce the runoff, as well as reduce the soil erosion. It helps in reducing the water and electricity bill, and provides a supply of safe water close to the homes, schools and other places, right? So those are the advantage of rainwater harvesting. And those rainwater harvesting practice we are doing from long time, especially those 2 terms you need to remember here, right? That is a Johad and Khadims. These are basically the traditional rainwater harvesting. That practice it was there in the Rajasthan area. So there, the Rajasthan, those are the dry area. There's a problem of water, so that's why those things it was practiced before. Only the people of that area, they have started practicing this Johad much more before they realize the problem of water. Now you need to focus on irrigation. Those are the maximum weightage from this chapter given on irrigation. What is irrigation? Irrigation is artificial way of supplying water to the agricultural field. Irrigation is artificial way of supplying water to the agricultural field, and as you know, 69% water is used for the irrigation purpose only. So need and importance of irrigation, that you need to know. Here you can see the few important points why irrigation is so much important for country like India. First of all, you need to know the base of Indian economy, that is the agricultural production. So we cannot hamper the agricultural production, and for agricultural production in India we much more dependent on the monsoon, right? But monsoon, there is no surety. It will come late, sometime it will create more rain, sometime it will create less rain. So we cannot rely on the monsoon much more. So here you can see the variability of rain, right? As I said, up and down amount of rainfall keep changes. Even unequal distribution all over India, we are not getting same amount of rain in all over the places. So for that we need to depend on irrigation. Next, maximum production. Some crops require more water, some crops is required less water, as well as some soils require more water. So depending on the type of crops we are going to cultivate, we need to depend on artificial supply of water, right? And those are the main requirement for the irrigation in India, right? Next, you can see it here, that methods of irrigation. Methods of irrigation basically is divided into 2 types: primitive methods and the modern methods. Primitive methods, what are the example? Oil tanks. And modern method, that is the canals and tube wells. Now primitive methods, right, used to irrigate a small area. Problem is there, it cannot supply water to a large area. But on the other hand, modern methods, that water it can be supplied to the large area. Next, primitive methods, what are the advantage? That it don't require the modern machineries, but here the modern methods, we require the modern machineries, right? Now we need to know individually about each type of irrigation. In India, basically, oil irrigation is maximum 37% area where we are practicing that oil irrigation. 31% area we are doing the tubal irrigation, 17% area we are doing the canal irrigation, and 15% area we are doing the tank irrigation. Now canal irrigation, although it is showing 17, but day by day government also has taken policies, so the amount of canal irrigation is going to increase, and it increasing, right? Different parts of India which suits different type of irrigation methods, so that's why we are practicing different type of irrigation in different parts of India. Well irrigation, it practice in such areas where groundwater level within the 15-meter reach, within within the 15-meter reach. So the farmers individually in their own agricultural field, they can dig that soil and they can get those groundwater easily. That is the well irrigation, right? That is the well irrigation. Here they don't need to depend on anyone else. They don't need to go for permission or any electric supply. Nothing is required. Manually they can take out the water. But disadvantage is there for well irrigation. You have to cultivate in small area. Larger area you will be not able to supply water. With a less than 2 acres of land it is possible, not more than that, right? Next one, here you can see it here, that well or tubal irrigation is to practice on those area maximum where the groundwater level is high, and if the ground level water is declining, so that time we need to go for the tubal irrigation. Now what is tubal irrigation? Tubal irrigation advantage is there if the groundwater level it will be low beyond 15 meters. So that time we can set up such pipeline like this way, and with the help of electricity we can take out the water. With the help of pump we can take out the water, and this water it can serve in larger area. So big farmers, this irrigation is very, very important, right? So tubal irrigation it can be done in that way, but remember one disadvantage, we require the cheap supply of electricity, otherwise it's not possible. Next one, tank irrigation. Tank irrigation mainly it used to practice in southern part of India. I repeat, southern part of India. Why? Because this have some requirement. What are the requirement? There should be solid firm base. Southern part of India is the Deccan Plateau area, is the plateau area. Igneous rocks are there much more. So that's why the base are very solid. Water, it can be stored very easily in this part, as well as the other methods of irrigation is not possible in that area. Why? Because the groundwater level is very low, as well as rivers are non-perennial. So from there canals irrigation also not possible. So for that tank irrigation is possible in that Deccan Plateau area. One more advantage, as it is the plateau area, so up and down landforms are there. So lower surface or lower land, the water can be stored easily. So those are the advantage of the tank irrigation. Now what are the disadvantage? It occupied larger area. So otherwise those area it can be utilized for other purposes. But as it will be occupied, so those area we cannot use for agricultural purpose. And as the open surface is there much more, so water evaporates much more, so there is a wastage of water. And another disadvantage, that is those area that is the non-perennial rivers are there, so supply of water we are not getting here much more. Next, here you can see the southern part of India. The southern part of India mainly we are doing the tank irrigation much more. We are practicing the tank irrigation much more due to the natural facilities. Next, canal irrigation. As I said, these sectors is growing very fast, right? Canal irrigation, what is the canal irrigation? Canal irrigation is the process where we are connecting the river water to the agricultural field. River water to the agricultural field. So the river water, otherwise it will go as a flow, as a runoff water, and it will go to the ocean. So the river it will be connected with the agricultural field. So extra river water it will come to the agricultural field, and you can utilize it for our agricultural activities, right? So those are the advantage of canal irrigation. Now, and those area where the other sources of water is not available, so those area it can be connected with the river and we can get those water easily. This canal irrigation further, there are two types of canal. One, that is the inundation canals. Another one is the perennial canals. Inundation canals, which will not supply water throughout the year, only during the rainy season extra water it will be supplied to the agricultural field, right? On the other hand, perennial canals, right, it can be water it will be supplied to the agricultural field throughout the year. So here you can see the two types of canals, that is, as I said, the perennial canals or the permanent canals and the inundation canals. For inundation canals, we don't need to construct any dam or any such things. Only extra water, it will be supplied to the canals. But the perennial canals, the depth of the canals, it will be much more lower than the water level of rivers. So, water it will come to the canals throughout the year. So, but for that, we need to construct dam. We need to construct dam. So in India, there are so many dams are there, but according to your syllabus, you need to know about the two dams. One, that is the Bakranangal Dam, another one, that is the Hirakud Dam. From this part, you don't need to study in details. Just you need to know which rivers is situated and which are the states getting benefited from there. Just these two things you need to study from there. Nothing more than that. Here you can see the two river project, as I mentioned. There is a Bakranangal river project, it is here, and another on the Hirakud river project, that is there on Damodar river valley. So those are the two river project you need to study, on which river, which are the states getting benefited from there. So that things, two things you need to study from there. This is very important, right? You need to know about all the types of irrigation under those headings, the required condition, advantages, disadvantage, area of practice, and state-wise distribution. You need to study. You can collect the information from your textbook. As I said, maximum weightage from this chapter given from this part, right? So you need to get all the information, make it by your own, collect the information from your textbook. It will not take more than 10 minutes and it will help you to get good marks in your exam. Now next we will talk about the modern methods of irrigation. Modern methods means these are the very advanced modern methods of irrigation. These are the three irrigation modern methods of irrigation you need to study for your exam. What are those? Here you can see furrow irrigation, sprinkler irrigation, and drip irrigation. You need to know little details about those type of irrigation. Let's talk about the furrow irrigation. Furrow irrigation, here you can see the plant, it will be cultivated as per the lines and there will be small gap, and water it will be supplied to the small narrow gap, and in that way, you know, water wastage it will be less, it can be minimized. Those are called the furrow irrigation. Next, another important is the sprinkler irrigation. Sprinkler irrigation, here you can see the sprinkler it will be used and the water it will be supplied to the crops. So even here it will be less wastage of water. And the best modern methods of irrigation, here you can see the drip irrigation. Here water it will be supplied to the roots of the plants, right? So there will be zero wastage of water, basically zero wastage of water. Water it will be used straight away by the plants, right? Similarly, I'll come with the more videos. For that, you need to subscribe the channel. It will help you to recap this chapter quickly for your exam purpose. Thank you.